Hey guys, thanks for coming back and tuning back in for this here. So what I like to do for this next content video, I'm going to talk about ball surface. So ball surface, I believe, is probably one of the most important things in the game that CTD creating the difference has come out a lot of studies with, is that sometimes layouts doesn't really affect the ball as much as we think it does. Really, ultimately, what comes down to are ball surface adjustments based off the pattern you're bowling on. So you're bowling on, let's say hypothetically, we're bowling on a 35-foot cheetah. A lot of times people will throw anything, 78 U, the IQ, Purple Hammer, the 78D, Black Hammer, and Motive, Tank Rampage, the Shadow Tank. So a lot of guys will throw that because it's a lot more slower off the spot. But again, you still need to put surface on those because the ball surface get too shiny on those balls. A lot of times where we think it should be start picking up around 35, ends up picking up around 37, 38, and then goes behind the head pin. You'll leave a lot of splits, not coming up enough, or sometimes even if you're too far right on the friction and you throw a shiny pearl urethane, it sometimes actually just take off on you, go to the face. So the surface a lot of times will blend that urethane look out. Same thing kind of mindset as well for reactive bowling balls on this 35 foot. So if you have a shiny pearl that you're throwing on cheetah, it's not going to end very well fresh. Now towards the end of the game, how the oil carries down, how it transitions, yes, the Zen or anything like a Rolly pearl reactive ball would actually look pretty decent on that, but fresh, not really. So, or you can actually definitely get a lot better reactions throwing reactive, solid, or something like that. So I see like a lot of people that are higher balls be low rev rate that will actually throw reactive because their urine things don't pick up as much as it needs to for them to do this. One of the best keys for them to succeed on that kind of stuff on 35 foot throwing reactive, high ball speed, low rev rate is actually surface. So surface is going to help you. You're going to get to a hook face earlier and then go into a roll phase. That's ideally what we want to see on that type of pattern with these type of bowlers. But again, this also goes for all type of bowlers too. You have to match up your ball, your style, your release, your ball speed, your rev rates up to the pattern what it is. So everybody's bowling on the same pattern, but you got essentially 100 different bowlers. Ball surface changes. So how do we do it? What's the best way to do it? There's multiple ways you can surface a bowling ball, but this is kind of more my scientific analysis that I like to do on this kind of stuff. I think of the sphere as a square. And so you take 6 sides on the square. You take a surface pad, put it in your palm, and then you start rubbing it in. And I'll do it about like 6 or 7 passes, and then I go on to the next side. 1, 2, there, move on. But one of the most important things that you want to do with this though is you want to make sure that you are applying equal pressure to all sides of this as you are doing this. Because if you start really like go light here, you can really dig in over here, it's not going to be a huge difference in your game, but what we like to do is we like to have consistent surface across all of the ball, especially in the area of your track, however you are. I'm a full roller, so more importantly, I want my surface to be equal when coming across here, which affects this side, the top side, and then this side. So it goes through a lot, but the same thing goes for a guy that might track this way. So here you're tracking here, you got this side to a little bit of this side and in between here, and then it tracks down to here. So that's where your ball is going to pick up oil, and that's what that part, the lines that you see, is the track of what the ball goes through on the lane. So when you start messing with some of the surface that might be inconsistent throughout that part, you're going to be done for because then you might get inconsistent reactions, you might struggle a little bit, you might not be able to carry as much, and then before you know it, you're looking at a 150 game when everybody's shooting 180s, 190s, 2.0s, and it's frustrating, and you're wondering what's going on. That could be number one. So basically what I did there is just 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what I like to do for the top part as well for this, the top I like to just separate the thumbs and the fingers. Now let's do it here, and I flip it over, do it here, and then ultimately you gotta do side number 6, which is at the bottom. So that's how I surface a bowling ball. I feel like I get the most consistent reaction out of this, so I know that this is a 2000 here. And if I want something a little bit more earlier, because I think this 2000 is not picking up enough, doesn't have enough teeth in the surface, I'll go to 1500, do the same exact thing. And then I'll keep doing these changes to it until I get the ideal reaction that I want on the pattern that I'm bowling on. What kind of surface do you ideally want to look for? Or even like what surface you want to hit first? It depends on what your ball is before you hit the ball with the surface. So if I, for example, had this like insane lane shine on here, and I was thinking, man, this ball just doesn't hook like it used to or something, I'm not going to go down to 1000. And then that ball is going to hook like I never did before, because now it's hooking at the 7-pin. So what you want is maybe get a 3000 pad. Maybe start off with that. Knock off some of that lane shine on there. And then test it out. You want to make sure that it is closer to the ideal reaction that you're missing or you want, and then go on from there. Maybe 2000 not enough, so let's go to 2000. Put 2000 on it. And then keep doing that. This is probably one of the most important tools that any bowler can have, whether you're a league bowler that bowl one night a week, or whether you're a tournament bowler where you bowl and you have one rest day in the entire week. So you want to learn how to do this, and obviously for the tournament bowlers, they might already know how to do this kind of stuff. But if they are getting inconsistent reactions, this might be the first thing they want to check out. But you know, all you league bowlers, getting these pads, like one pad itself is probably $7. You can get a whole set of 6 that will go from 500, 1000, 15, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000 for like $36 through CTD, Creating the Difference bowling website. You can get through that. And also too, like if you want, you can also sign up to be on the regional staff as well. You know, that's also a plus for you guys. Ultimately, at the end of the time, after I surface my bowling balls, what I like to do is I like to take the back of these and then I will just rub it on like this to get all that surface dust off of it. Because one of my pet peeves is people put their balls with all the surface, they just hit it with 500 or 360 or 180, and you see the dust still on there, and they put it on the rack. Now that's just going to give them a false reaction, because now some of that dust is technically adding teeth to it, and that ball's going to hook a little bit more, and then you have to throw a couple more shots so you get all the dust off, and then even whenever you wipe off the chamois, now the chamois is going to be covered in dust. So it's just a whole situation where I like to just avoid by just wiping the dust off in the back of your pad. Sire, Avalon, CTD, they all have a nice soft in the back there, so I just collect the dust like that. Did you guys have any questions about ball surfacing, or you are looking for, you have any questions for anything, you're saying like, I tried this and my ball's still not looking the same, you know, there might be an issue of like rejuvenating it, so you might just have to take it to your nearby pro shop to get it rejuvenated. They'll clean and they'll resurface it. So another part of this here too is resurfacing. So what we're doing is here, we're just applying surface to the ball that we need. Resurfacing the ball is essentially taking the cover stock of what it was all the way off and getting to the new, fresh cover stock underneath all the wear and tear of what already have like 100, 200, 300 games surface on it. You get to where this oil, you get to where the cover stock where the oil hasn't even seeped in to yet. So a lot of the time, you just take it to a pro shop. Ball spinner works the best for this. The ball spinner, you take it from whatever surface, lane shine, you take 4,000, 3, 2, 15, 1, 500, 360, depending on how low they want to go, they go 180. And then they will bring it back to box surface. So I believe this is 2,000 box surface. So then they would take 360 to 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. And then there you go. That's pretty much the whole resurfacing routine there. So if you guys have a ball spinner, feel free to do that. It will definitely bring the ball back to life. But yeah, again, if you guys have any questions about anything, you know, feel free to comment. You know, I love to get some feedback from that, or even if you have questions, I love to answer them. And we'll catch you guys next time.